President Vladimir Putin of Russia is about to land in Delhi for the big summit with Modi. It's going to be a power-packed visit, but a very, very brief one, just 6 to 7 hours long, but it will have a huge impact for relations between the two countries. Putin will be attending the 21st India-Russia annual summit with his friend Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The two leaders will be discussing trade, Taliban, terror, and all of it in the background of millions of dollars in military defense contracts that have been signed between both countries.
Russian President Vladimir Putin on a power-packed visit to India. India's Purana Dost on a milestone visit. Namo and Putin push dosti and diplomacy. The world watches Putin-Modi handshakes and hugs. Putin is on a landmark visit to India, attending the 21st annual India-Russia summit with Prime Minister Modi, which is taking place after 2019 due to the COVID pandemic. It's also the first in-person meet other than the BRICS summit in Brazil in 2019.
This is a first physical contact after a comparatively long pause since 2019. And as a matter of fact, this is the first foreign trip by the president of the Russian Federation, which would testify to the importance of our bilateral relationship, to its exclusive nature.
Signing the deal to manufacture AK-203 Kalashnikov assault rifles for the Indian Army remains the highlight of Putin's visit. Over 6 lakh AK-203 rifles will be manufactured under the Make in India initiative. The first 70,000 units will include Russia-made components as technology transfer, and after 32 months, the manufacturing will begin in UP's Amethi. The Russian president is also likely to gift Modi a model of the S-400 air defense system, whose delivery has already begun.
This contract is really a matter of our pride, which would testify to the very special strategic nature of our relationship, despite of any kind of pressure or sanctions. This is true about Russia, and this is true, and this is true about India.
Putin's India visit assumes significance as the Russian president will try to reset their relationship amid a series of recent differences ranging from AFPAC to the Indo-Pacific.
Afghanistan is a matter of our common concern. The two leaders and the two sides would revive their commitment to peaceful and secure Afghanistan, fighting terror and drug trafficking, securing Afghanistan as a predictable place friendly to its neighbors, extending humanitarian assistance to Afghanistan.
Putin's visit is all about further cementing the ties of its old all-weather friend India. Both countries are expected to sign several bilateral agreements in key areas. Putin's visit is all about keeping an old romance alive between Moscow and New Delhi. With Geeta Mohan in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
And can both these leaders ensure that the many geopolitical upheavals and shifts that have happened in the last 18 months, is it going to be water under the bridge? And is it going to be a reboot of what is really a very old relationship between India and Russia? Ahead of Putin's bilateral meet with Modi in a few minutes from now, the first 2+2 inaugural dialogue between the foreign and defense ministers of both sides happened today, where a large number of crucial military contracts and agreements were actually signed by India's defense and foreign minister and their counterparts on the Russian side. Both countries have signed a landmark deal to manufacture over 6 lakh Kalashnikov AK-203 assault rifles that will be made in Amethi in pole-bound Uttar Pradesh. Both nations have also extended military cooperation protocols for another decade till 2031. Meanwhile, Putin arrives just around the time that the first S-400 missile systems are scheduled to arrive in the country in just days from now. So that's another big milestone in what is one of the largest ever India-Russia military contracts in their long history of military trade.
Our meeting gives us a suitable platform to discuss politico-military issues of mutual interest that are interrelated and cross-cutting. Our discussions today will address the emergence of multipolarity and rebalancing. We look too at the consequences of over-centralized globalization. The COVID-19 pandemic has raised questions about the current model of global affairs, but the long-standing challenges remain even as new ones emerge. Prominent among them are terrorism, violent extremism, and radicalization. The situation in Afghanistan has wider repercussions, including for Central Asia. West Asia or the Middle East continues to present hotspots. Maritime security and safety is another domain of shared concern. We both have a common interest in ASEAN centrality and ASEAN-driven platforms. All in all, there is much to discuss today. I look forward to an open exchange of views that would further strengthen our special and privileged strategic partnership.
I am glad that despite all these challenges, India-Russia defense engagements progressed in an unprecedented manner in recent times. I have had the honor of visiting Moscow twice and Dushanbe once to participate in the celebrations for victory in the Great Patriotic War and in 2 rounds of SCO defense ministers meeting. Our officers and troops not only marched shoulder to shoulder with the Russian troops in honor of these fallen in Second World War, but also participated in a substantial manner in major exercises and activities undertaken at Russia's initiatives.
सरकारी आयोग की बैठक हुई मेरे समकक्ष और मैं हमारे बीच विस्तृत चर्चा हुई हमारे सहयोग के बारे में रक्षा के क्षेत्र में और हम आगे के लिए योजनाएं हमने बनाए। मुझे विश्वास है कि जो दोनों देश के जो एजेंसियां हैं वे योगदान करेंगे ताकि हम क्षेत्रीय विश्वास को बढ़ा सकें और वैश्विक स्तर पर सुरक्षा को बढ़ा सकें।
Now, I'm going to tell you what the India-Russia defense trade actually looks like right now. As you can see, my friend Sandeep is also joining me on this because he's one of the biggest experts on not just weapon systems, but also Russia. So we're going to get his perspective on this. Russia happens to be one of the largest weapon suppliers to India at this point of time. Here are the deals worth over $15 billion that are either being negotiated or under execution between both of the countries at this time. The biggest one, the jewel in the crown of India-Russian military trade right now is, of course, the S-400 Triumph air defense missile system. It's valued at over $5.5 billion. Delivery has already tentatively begun with the launcher systems to be delivered in just a few days from now. The second is the big deal that was actually signed today. AK-203 rifles, 6 lakh of these rifles are going to be built in Amethi in pole-bound Uttar Pradesh. It's a deal worth $700 million. It's a Make in India project. This was cleared today and India Today told you first. The third is a deal for 200 Make in India Kamov 2260 Sergei light utility helicopters. This is also a Make in India project valued at about $1 billion, but it is now hanging in the balance and we're told it may not go through as a big Make in India project. India might simply buy a token number of these helicopters off the shelf because India has already started producing helicopters of a similar capability on its own right here. The fourth big contract that's on the table, MiG-29 fighters, 21 more of the upgraded variety of this legendary fighter is a contract that India is very keen to establish very, very soon. Negotiations are currently on. The fifth is something that's been under consideration following the big standoff between India and China in Ladakh, the Sprut SDM-1 light mountain tank. An unspecified number of these are also under consideration at this time for the Indian Army, especially in the Ladakh sector. I want to bring in Sandeep Unithan, for managing editor India Today magazine on this because he's visited Russia several times. He's tracked very closely the military trade between India and Russia. Sandeep, the 2+2 dialogue that's taken place today has, finally pushed the AK-203 deal, out of a stall. It was stalled for many, many years. Now, coincidentally or not so coincidentally, just before the UP elections, the deal has finally gone through. But, once again, coming as a reminder that the defense trade between these two countries has always been an enabler and a sweetener, if you will, for the larger diplomatic relationship. The actual handshake will happen when Putin lands and Prime Minister Modi and he meet later. But the defense trade, as captured by the 2+2 dialogue, is the real meat on the bone.
Absolutely, Shiv. You have deals worth more than $15 billion that are either being negotiated or under execution. And this is despite the fact that you have this looming Damocles sword sanctions from the United States, the possibility of sanctions under the CAATSA. And this summit, this 2+2 summit today, and indeed the raft of defense deals that are under negotiation, that very clearly shows that India has made up its mind to go ahead with the deals with Russia despite the pressure from the United States. That's a very big statement that's been made today, and the fact that it's chosen to signal its strategic autonomy, that India has said that, look, when it comes to our core defense needs, choosing our strategic partners, India is, India does not bow or is not pressurized by another country. So that, I think, Shiv, is the larger message that we are seeing out here today. I mean, the AK-47 is a very huge, the AK-203 is a huge symbol of the relationship between the two countries. India has been the largest operator of the AK, user of the AK type rifles, but we've never actually bought them from Russia, and the fact that it's now going to be made domestically in India and in Uttar Pradesh, as you mentioned, it's again, it's filled with symbolism, and the cooperation is multidimensional. It's land, sea, air. It extends to the space program, and it even goes down to the Samudrayan mission, that the deep ocean mission that India's scientists are going to undertake in a few years. So it's the kind of technology cooperations, collaborations between India and Russia are enormous. I don't think we have these kind of cooperation, collaborative projects with any other country in the world, Shiv.
It's enormous. It's multi-layered. It goes very, very deep. And as Sandeep just explained, it has tentacles going into all parts of the strategic relationship. And Sandeep also mentioned the AK-203 deal, a $700 million deal that was finally signed today, where over 6 lakh rifles. It's the latest version of the legendary AK-47 that's going to be manufactured in Amethi, the famous district of Amethi in Uttar Pradesh. Right before the elections, the deal has actually been signed. Both Sandeep and I traveled to Moscow a couple of years ago, where we had a chance to actually get up close with the AK-203. Take a look at this report.
The basic minimum when it comes to the army in the field. This is the weapon he depends on. You are probably familiar with the AK-47, perhaps the most recognized assault rifle in the world. Variants of the legendary Kalashnikov rifle have been a mainstay for decades in the Indian Army. The other weapon that has been widespread but problematic use is the infantry's small arms system, or INSAS, recognizable by its signature orange stock and grip sections. But the truth is bitter one. For decades now, the army has not managed to induct a fully satisfactory assault rifle in large numbers. Comfortable that it has chosen a solid, no-nonsense firearm for its frontline troops. But if the INSAS and AK-47s are to bow out, what replaces them? And more importantly, when? The weapon that will be adopted in the largest numbers is this one, called AK-203. Which is in fact a derivative of the old AK-47 itself. Much more modern and fine-tuned for updated combat. Nearly 7 lakh of these are to be built in UP's Amethi district as part of a joint venture between Russia's Kalashnikov and India's Ordnance Factory Board.
Now, what the Indian Army wants is for this particular weapon, a pretty worthy successor of the old AK-47 to become a standard assault rifle infantry weapon for the infantry units of the Indian Army. One of the special things about this weapon, we're told, is that it has a special capability barrel. It has retrospective compatibility with many of the systems, including the magazines and ammunition of the old AK-47s. Remember, India's Rashtriya Rifles units and infantry regiments are one of the largest users in the world of the Kalashnikov series of rifles.
The legendary AK-47 will give way to its newest avatar. It is likely that the first new rifles will begin entering service next year. India's soldiers deserve the most reliable weapons, and the AK-203, which is to be manufactured in huge numbers, should meet all combat requirements in the field. Bureau Report, India Today.
President Putin has just landed in the national capital. Let's take you across to live images of Putin in Delhi. Here are the first images coming in live. Let's see if we can get some sound in from the ground. Our Foreign Affairs editor, Geeta Mohan, also live with me. Let's get in some sound from the ground. Okay, that is President Putin's vehicle that's just pulled in. He's about to get out of the vehicle for his meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He's landed just a few minutes ago, the Prime Minister arriving there for the summit. And that's Prime Minister Modi. Putin will be arriving in just a moment right now. The host has just walked in. That's Prime Minister Modi walking in and President Putin arriving any moment now. Let me bring in Geeta Mohan. Geeta Mohan, our Foreign Affairs editor, tracking everything very, very closely. Geeta, pretty much on time. It's 5:24, the big summit all set to begin between Prime Minister Modi and President Putin.
Well, absolutely, Shiv. A very highly anticipated meeting between President Putin and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. All aspects, all areas will be touched upon when it comes to India-Russia ties. You have elaborated how important defense cooperation is for the two countries. But like you rightly were saying, Shiv, when it comes to balancing of ties between China, United States of America, Russia and New Delhi, it seems like India's message is very clear. Tomorrow, Putin is going to have a video conference with Biden. 2 days later, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to attend the Summit for Democracy with President Biden. For India, it's very clear. Strategic autonomy is paramount, and India will engage any and every country that it deems fit to secure its national security interests. And that's what's happening over here. Defense cooperation between India and Russia will not be compromised because certain countries have certain problems with Moscow. Apart from that, there are going to be important key agreements in various areas, including space exploration, science and technology. There's going to be a lot of conversation with regards to the regional situation shaped for us, for India. And I was speaking to Ambassador Nikolai Kudyshev. He said that we have shared concerns when it comes to terrorism. And in that, Afghanistan is going to figure prominently, the situation in Afghanistan and how the entire region and the world is looking at stabilizing this entire part of the world. So that certainly is going to be a very important topic of discussion between the leaders. But it is not just about the conversations that are to be had, because this is a partnership that goes beyond one leader, one leadership, one government. It has been a continuum. But what we're seeing over here is an in-person meeting that is going to take place after a 2-year hiatus. And that's very important because Moscow is reeling under huge COVID-19 pressure right now. And it's the reason why, Shiv, you see President Putin is arriving in New Delhi, and as soon as he lands, he straight away comes to Hyderabad House, holds the meetings and then leaves for Moscow. He's not going to stay the night. It's very rare that President Putin has actually stayed the night. So it's going to be a very short and a very tightly packed visit for President Putin. In the past, he has interacted and engaged with business leaders, other engagements, but this time around it's going to be completely focused on the bilateral engagements between India and Russia, between President Putin and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So there is going to be a lot of conversation on all issues at hand, but like you rightly said, the biggest aspect in this entire kitty is the defense agreements that we're seeing, the defense deals, two important ones already inked, and there are major ones to follow. And then again, areas of space exploration, science and technology, a bit of trade.
You know, Geeta, I wanted to just touch upon the, you know, the S-400 missile deal. I want to bring Sandeep back into that because Sandeep and I both traveled a couple of years ago to the site where the S-400 is actually manufactured, you know, in a small town right outside St. Petersburg in Russia. And, you know, in many ways, Sandeep, Prime Minister Modi and Putin are both, you know, they bear the scars of having weathered the Katsa storm. And that storm isn't over just yet. You know, that sword still hangs over India in many ways, even though there is a sense that India has been able to diplomatically maneuver through, you know, threats of sanctions from the United States for going through with the S-400. But that threat is you know, always there. So in many ways, both these leaders, when they shake hands right now, they've actually weathered one of the most tricky diplomatic you know, mazes, which is, you know, navigating Katsa and actually sort of, you know, coming out on the other side and meeting in this manner.
Yeah, absolutely, Shiv, because, you know, the deals that are being negotiated right now, you know, apart from the S-400, there are multiple other deals for, you know, submarines, leases for nuclear submarines, warships that are being constructed, helicopters, fighter jets. All of these point to a timeline of over a decade. And that is a big signal from New Delhi, the fact that it is not going to be deterred by sanctions, sanction regimes like Katsa. When it comes to choosing its strategic partners, it's made that very clear with this 2+2 dialogue, and indeed President Putin's visit today, that it is likely to continue this very important strategic relationship. Shiv. And let's not also forget that this is the 50th year of the 1971 war. Yeah. And this is a war that India could not have fought or won without the support of the Soviet Union, the then Soviet Union, Shiv.
Absolutely. Couldn't have won without the Soviet Union. Gaurav Sawant, Senior Executive Editor, also live with me. Gaurav, you know, I also want to talk about the aspect that is visible to everyone. You know, the kind of body language and the camaraderie that we see between Prime Minister Modi and Putin. All of the pictures we've seen, I'm sure we're going to get fresh images of both these leaders meeting. I'm sure it's going to be, you know, bountiful in terms of the, you know, the hugs and handshakes, keeping in view even Omicron. But these are two leaders who've had you know, who share a very healthy relationship for all the background of, you know, difficult geopolitical, you know, shifts, the rise of China, Katsa, you know, the Biden administration's pressure. These are two comfortable leaders who enjoy each other's company. We've seen that in the past, Gaurav.
We have. They've interacted with each other several times. They've not only interacted with each other several times, the fact that there is an annual summit, they go to each other's country and interact with each other, that's extremely significant. Two powerful leaders who are there to stay and want to make an impact in this very fast changing geopolitical situation. So it's not just about India, China, or India, Pakistan, or defense. Shiv, what's also extremely significant is India expects to play a bigger role even in Afghanistan, and Russia there plays a very critical role. Russia realizes that India is a very, very powerful partner that Russia would also require even in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Everyone is wary of China. While there are close proximities and close friendships, but then you need a counterbalance, and India is a very effective counterbalance. And this is where, you know, as both Geeta and Sandeep have been saying, India is sending across a message even to the United States of America that this exception that India has taken is not just the S-400 centric. There is other military hardware that India will look at from Russia, whether it's more aircraft, additional Su-30s or MiG-29s or submarines, India will look to deepen defense and strategic ties with Russia.
Absolutely, and we're expecting to get the first images of President Putin's arrival in just a moment from now. There's likely to be a guard of honor, and then he will be escorted inside for that brief summit with Prime Minister Modi. You know, he's here only for a very short visit, Geeta, to bring you in on that, you know, as we await those images. And India Today's cameras will not miss those live images. Right now, what you're looking at is Prime Minister Modi, who arrived just a short while ago. In a moment's time, you will see pictures of President Putin live here, of course, here on India Today. Putin here only for a few hours, Geeta. You know, is there a specific reason for that? He's not staying the night. He's, of course, world leaders are busy. But, you know, is there a story behind that? He's buzzing off after just a few hours.
Well, a very specific reason, Shiv, and that has to do with COVID-19. We do know that the situation in Moscow is not, or in Russia for that matter, has not been very good when it comes to COVID-19. The Russian president's entire team, the core team, turned COVID positive just before the G20, because of which he did not travel for the G20 summit as well. And now the Russian president's team is very clear that there can be no breach of COVID protocols, and is the reason why he is not staying. He's not even entering a hotel. We know that there have been many a time, Shiv, in the past when President Putin has not stayed the night, but a hotel is booked, an entire floor is booked. He goes there, he engages people and meets. This time around, that's not what's happening. He's straight away from the airport going to Hyderabad House. We hear a lot of sirens. In all probability, it would be the route for President Putin that now is going to be put in place for him to arrive at Hyderabad House from the airport. But it's a short visit because of COVID-19. Interestingly, Shiv, when I went to meet the ambassador for the interview, there was a huge distance that we had to maintain because Ambassador Kudyshev is going to be in very close proximity to President Putin. And that's why none of the officials were meeting us or any outsiders in close proximity. They were being very careful.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen over here. What is going to be interesting, Shiv, is to see whether if that big hug, the moment where we see the kind of camaraderie between Prime Minister Modi and all his counterparts of world leaders who he's really friends with, whether that's really going to happen or not, because we do know that the entire team has been very careful with regards to COVID-19 protocols, and that has not been breached. And President Putin does maintain a long distance, a huge distance from everybody. We do not know whether that's going to happen with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So I look forward to seeing those visuals.
Okay, that's going to be, it's going to be interesting, but don't be surprised if you don't see the usual, jappi between the two leaders, which is usually the case, because as Geeta has very interestingly clarified, because Geeta, I can tell you that this is a question that's been asked by a lot of people. It's been doing some buzz on social media. Why isn't Putin staying the night? He's such a good friend of ours. Why is he leaving so soon? He should stay here for a few days, blah, blah, blah. But that's different. The fact is, there's Omicron, there's a threat, you've got the, you've got other meetings that are scheduled also, and therefore President Putin is going to be leaving at about 9:40 p.m. He's already in India. The meeting between him and Prime Minister Modi will be starting any moment now, and then there will be, the summit conference, and then he will be leaving very shortly thereafter. We're taking a very, very quick break. We're back. We've got our eye on this. I promise you will not miss a single live image. Back after this very short break. Stay with us.